Retro.
Are you an aspiring Jedi, or do you dabble with the dark side of the Force?
Regardless of whether you fancy yourself a defender of the light or an aspiring Sith Lord, you're going to need a lightsaber.
Podcast Stardust is pleased to partner with Saber Masters, the creators of high-quality, durable, and affordable lightsabers.
Saber Masters is preparing to launch the Ultimate Lightsaber 2.0, and right now you can get 2 for the price of 1.
So, check out the link in our show notes and go get your Ultimate Lightsabers from Saber Masters.
And don't forget to use our referral code STARDUST to save $10 at checkout.
And each purchase using our referral code helps support Podcast Stardust.
Hi, this is Fred Tatasciore, and you're listening to Dennis and Jay on Podcast Stardust. The Force is strong with both of them.
Hello there, Star Wars fans. I'm Jay Krebs.
And I'm Dennis Keithley.
And this is another fully armed and operational edition of Podcast Stardust, the galaxy's source for Star Wars news, reviews, and discussion. So before we get on with this episode, Dennis, where can our listeners find us on social media?
All right. The best place to find us is Instagram at Podcast Stardust. The second place is Facebook, also at Podcast Stardust. And the third, X. You guessed it, Podcast Stardust.
Hey, we're consistent. So today on Podcast Stardust, episode 747, hey, we're like an airplane. We are bringing you our special monthly feature called World Between Worlds, a mystical dimension that connects Star Wars fashion and lifestyle products to your space and time. So the goal is to bring you a wide variety of ideas for products to surround you, outfit you, and bind your style sense together, kind of like the Force, as we always say. So hopefully everyone's summer here in the Northern Hemisphere is a safe and enjoyable one. So this month's World Between Worlds will feature a bit of everything from summer goods and fashion to, dare I say, back to school ideas. As much as I don't really want to start thinking about school again, if we wait until next month's roundup, there may not be enough time to grab some of these items in time for that first day back. So I'm excited to jump in because I've been saving a lot of things that I've been getting through Instagram and then compiling them. So we're actually not even going to get to everything that I wanted to, but we have to keep this, to our normal amount of time. But first, Dennis and I always do a rundown of any new Star Wars gets or any updates to some current products we have previously smuggled into our collections or just anything fun. So Dennis, what you got?
So this month I'm going to talk about the fact that I finally got to sample the blue milk and the Star Wars Oreo cookies. And I got back from vacation. I went to the store and lo and behold, they happened to have the Star Wars Oreos. So I picked up a pack of that. And then my wife made a run, I think, to Target. And she happened to find the blue milk on the shelf. So we tried all this stuff. As you may know, the Oreos come in light side and dark side packs. You just don't know which one you're getting until you open it. The first pack that I opened happened to be light side, so it had the blue cream. They're tasty, some of the freshest tasting Oreos I've ever had. Nice. Each one has a different character image on it. So I think I remember seeing Luke and C-3PO and maybe BB-8. I can't remember. I wasn't paying as much attention at that point. As for the blue milk, it's perfectly fine milk. It definitely is vanilla flavored and probably a little sweeter than what you're used to on your average glass of milk. And so it was fun to try, but this is not a milk flavor that I'm necessarily going to miss when it's gone. I tend to, I should probably drink more milk than I do, but I get my calcium and vitamin D from other sources. And I just typically prefer regular milk when it comes down to it. It's not like I use this blue milk in cooking for anything. Right. So, so it's fun to try. And since that first pack of Oreos, I happened to be at the store again. I picked up 2 more packs. These were Dark Side the second time around with the red
Ooh.
cream. I saw Kylo Ren, Darth Vader, Darth Maul, Stormtroopers, Scout Troopers, Emperor Palpatine were several of the characters that were featured on those cookies. So those are fun. And it's not that they really taste any different than the regular Oreo, but I guess because it is a new limited flavor, they just taste fresher. I don't know if that's me making that up, but I remember opening those packages and like, this is the freshest Oreo I've ever had. So
Wow.
it's still processed food. So, take that with what it's worth. But I was impressed with that.
Well, that's cool. Yeah, I've
Yeah.
yet to be able to find the blue milk. And, I will be fair, I haven't really looked for it.
Mhm.
So there is that, but I'm really eager to try to find these Oreos. I've seen a lot of people posting about it. So I've got the little missing out feeling here. So I need to head to the grocery store and pick some up.
Right. Yeah. And Alec really likes the blue milk. But he likes the sweeter tasting flavors of milk. So I told him he could
Mm.
have all of it. But yeah, it was fun to try. I'm glad I did. But it's not something I would be clamoring for in the future.
Yeah. I bet it would make a good milkshake. I'll
Oh,
have to
I'm
try that
certain
out.
of that. Yeah, that's a good idea.
Yeah, for sure. Now you're making me hungry. So, talk about food. I have a little update on my Hedley and Bennett Mandalorian Beskar knives. Of course, I love them. These are the ones that I talked about that I picked up for a May the 4th deal. So, I actually ended up getting one of those magnets that you can attach to your wall. So that way I can put the knives right on the magnet. And so they've been really great to be able to just have super handy and just pick up whenever I'm cooking, which is quite often. So once again, I'm just in love with these knives. And so anyone that is thinking about picking them up, I definitely highly, highly recommend those. And then I also got a surprise from a student of mine at the very end of the school year. And this isn't something that is like a rare sort of a thing, but I just thought it was a really sweet gesture as a thank you. And because he knows that I'm such a big Star Wars fan, he gave me the Star Wars A New Hope VHS tape. And so this is something that was, I think, part of a boxed set at one
Mhm.
time, but it's the one that was released in 1995. So it's before the special editions came out, which is pretty cool. But again, it's just one of those things that it was such a nice little gesture, and I have it on my geek shelf, so it has a little place with a lot of my other collectibles at this point. And so it was funny because when he gave it to me, he said, "You're gonna have to break out your VHS player, Mrs. Krebs." I said, "I don't even know if I own a VHS player
Uh-huh.
anymore." So, but again, just kind of a cool little thing.
Yeah, I own those VHS tapes back in the
Mhm.
day. I remember being in college and saved some money, bought my roommate actually had the TV, and then I think we split the price on a VCR, and because that's what hey, DVDs weren't a thing at the time, and this was one of the movies I bought just to have in the room, and probably wore that tape out. We watched it so often.
Oh yeah, yeah, as we should, right?
Mm.
That's so cool.
Mhm.
So again, it was just like a fun little gesture there. And then another thing that I've had laying around my house for a few years now that I picked up, I don't even know, at Walmart, but it was a 5 puzzle pack of these 150-piece 3D puzzles of different scenes from Star Wars. And I actually originally picked it up for my sons and I to do, on like snow days or rainy days or whatever. And they, like I said, they just kind of got shoved aside. And then my husband and I were talking about, hey, we should like do a puzzle. And I said, I've got some puzzles. So I went up and to the attic and I got this box, never even been opened, like I said. And so there's 5 bags of these puzzles in there. And so I said, all right, pick a bag. And there's different scenes. So there was A New Hope inside the Tantive 4 when Vader's just kind of coming in, through the hallway. The original A New Hope, like poster art type thing, is the best way I can describe it. The Phantom Menace poster art with like the pod race and stuff on that. another Phantom Menace with Qui-Gon, Obi-Wan, and Maul, and the fight scene kind of thing. And then Return of the Jedi, Luke versus Vader in the throne room. So kind of interesting, first of all, that there was no, real like Empire Strikes Back. It wasn't like a saga kind of thing. It was two Phantom Menace, a couple of A New Hope and a Return of the Jedi. So we ended up picking out the one that was from the TNT4. This was the hardest puzzle I've ever put together in my life. And I think it was because of the 3D that, when you're moving the puzzle one way or another, it's like this lenticular kind of a thing. And so it was like messing with your vision. And so they ended up being the one that we did, took us 2 days to do, and probably a total of like 6 hours total. And it ended up being about 13 by 9 inches. And we both said never again. We are never doing another 3D puzzle again. But it was a fun little adventure nonetheless. So so those puzzles are definitely out there. And just a quick aside, I've been seeing people on Instagram that have figured out that different, or I should say the same puzzle company, they will use, of course, the same die cut for every scene or every type of puzzle that they do. And so people are getting really creative about mashing up
Oh my.
different puzzles. Yeah. So like they'll put a lion in outer space, for example. So all I could think of was, oh, wouldn't that be fun to be able to mash up Star Wars with, Marvel or something like that. So I don't know if I can find something like that to do, but it is kind of a fun little adventure in my brain pan, at least. To
I guess
think
it'd be economical for the puzzle company, but wow, okay. I never heard of that before. So interesting.
Yeah, yeah, I'll have to send you I saved it on my Instagram, one of the posts, and I'll have to send it to you. It's actually pretty creative. I don't know how people come up with this stuff, but it always intrigues me. So then the last thing I have an update on is in the lifestyle segment, I guess you could say, is that I got to spend some time with Vanessa Marshall at a little convention here near my hometown that was put on by Operation Fandom and Greenie's Sports Cards. And so Vanessa came out for the day, and I got to hang with her, and she signed a couple of my things. She actually signed my Blurg Blaster that I use in my Hera cosplay. And then I told Vanessa, I said, yeah, this is, how like stuck on myself I am. I'm going to have you sign a picture of me. So, so I actually had her sign an 8x10 of me in my Hera cosplay. But she thought that was pretty cool. So then the next day, then at Operation Fandom, I was with her as I was Hera. And then we, just like I said, just kind of hung out, and it was a great experience. So I'm very, very humbled to have had that experience. And I really do hope that I am able to see Vanessa again at some point in the future. So, yeah, so that's it for me. And then before we actually head into some of the new products, I have one bit of fashion news before we get into this month's add to cart goodness, and that is that the 10th annual Her Universe Fashion Show will be Thursday, July 25th, as usual, at the San Diego Comic-Con. And it will, as usual, be hosted by Ashley Eckstein. But there's a couple of different things that are a little bit different this year. So, as in years past, there had always been some sort of a theme that all of the fashion designers had to basically follow and do their designs around. And there is no theme this year. So that's different. So all the submissions basically just have to be geek couture fashion, and they can be based on any fandom that is celebrated at San Diego Comic-Con, but the designs should not be a costume. So of course they need to be some sort of an interpretation of a character in that geek couture aesthetic, which actually I think is really awesome because
Hmm.
there are so many amazing fandoms out there. And, in years past, it's fun to have a theme, but I think that does kind of limit the creativity of some of the people as far as wanting to submit things. So the original submissions were actually cut off in March. And so the finalists will be able to strut their stuff here in July. And they are also encouraging any kind of fashion, innovation, and really Her Universe or Mattel is like a big one too, because Mattel is sponsoring this. So I'm assuming that we'll probably end up seeing some Barbie-fied kinds of things, which I'm really looking forward to myself. And there will be 2 winners that will each receive a cash prize of $2,000, which again is a little different because in the past, the winners have had the opportunity to, for example, work with Ashley or a company such as Her Universe or Hot Topic to design a line of fashion items. So this is, again, kind of a departure from the norm in that they are just giving out a cash prize this year. So aside from that, if anyone is interested next month, because I'm not sure when we'll be recording just yet for July's World Between Worlds, but on July 25th, that should be streamed on YouTube once again, where it has been for the past few years, but no word on the viewing access that I have found as of yet. So I can't confirm that. I'm just kind of assuming that. But I'm very much looking forward to the fashion show as I have been in years past, because Ashley always has amazing dress designs that she wears as host. So that is the one thing that I definitely always look forward to.
Yeah, that costume she had recently with like the movie film where the
Yeah.
different images were all over it. That was pretty cool.
Oh yeah. Yeah. And of course, who can forget the Ahsoka Lego dress
Right.
that was like 30 pounds or something like
Yeah, that was
that?
way heavy.
Yeah, for sure. So let's get into some new products here. And since we're talking about Ashley Eckstein and Her Universe, there is a whole new line called Totally Tropical that is being featured on the Her Universe website right now, that has some dresses and some woven button-up shirts for guys. And so the two main things, if you want to be all matchy-matchy, is there's a tiki dress and a woven button up for the guys. So the tiki dress itself is called Droids at the Beach. So this has some AT-ATs or AT-ATs, if you will. And it also has, basically it looks like scarif is what I'm interpreting it, but it just says, just another sunny day at the beach, observing the AT-AT walkers. This fun tiki-inspired dress shows a beach scene with R2-D2 and C-3PO on the shore and AT-AT walkers in the background exploring the terrain. It has straps with ruffle detail, smocking at the back, pockets, and lining. So this, like I said, also has a kind of a matching button-up type beach shirt for guys. And so this one has the same type of description to it. And this is actually 100% rayon. So these are very nicely sublimated type shirts that you're looking at here and the design itself. So I just thought those were pretty cool. The dress is also available in plus sizes. And there's also a retro collection that I'm really into right now on Her Universe. And these are actually also available on the Disney Store website as well. And the one that I'm really in love with is this AT-AT retro skirt. And it's got a very 50s kind of a vibe to it. And so the details on this one is, it says, the best way to take down an AT-AT, tie up their legs. This Star Wars retro skirt features a panel depicting AT-ATs on Hoth, centered between polka dot and stripe designs. Comes lined and with side seam pockets, back zipper, and a removable blue belt, complete with a half elasticized waistband. So this is something that I can definitely see myself wearing to work as a teacher. And so loving that one. And then there's also something called a skirt-all, which is basically like a skirt with overalls. So skirt-all, there you go. And so this one is a black skirt-all, and it's featured with a white ruffled shirt underneath it. And the description on this one is, whether you are exploring the outer rim of the galaxy or gearing up for a battle against the Empire, you'll want these droids by your side. The Star Wars skirt-all has a retro fit and features a border print of R2-D2, C-3PO, and BB-8, plus Rebel symbols and star embroideries. Comes with side seam pockets, back zipper, and adjustable straps. So the whole thing with pockets is that, hardly anything ever has pockets. And so when it does for women, we really like that. And then the last thing is in the retro collection is a sweater top. And on this one, this is a Her Universe exclusive. So it says, deliver the Death Star plans to the Rebel Alliance in this Star Wars sweater top. The super soft Intarsia top features gray and blue color blocking inspired by your favorite droid, R2D2, and the Rebel symbol that are embroidered across the chest, sleeves, and back. Comes with a collar, buttons, and 3/4 puff sleeves. So the sizes on these are anywhere from extra small all the way up to 3X on all of the collection. And the prices are anywhere from $42 to $60 in that range. There is right now a code that you can use for 20% off. So I'm not sure if that's still going to be in effect when this comes out. So that's something that they're always running, different types of deals on as well. And then the last collection is a summer collection, and these are some athletic dresses from Her Universe. So there's two specifically that I really caught my eye, and they're both based on Ahsoka. And so one of them is based on Ahsoka's Leku. So it's blue with the blue and white stripes that are coming from the tank all the way down through the bodice. And then the greatest thing about both of these little dresses, these athletic dresses, is that underneath the dress itself, there is attached shorts that have pockets. So they're basically like biker shorts underneath these. And they're made out of polyester and spandex. So they don't wrinkle, they are wicking, which is really nice. And the other one is based on the burgundy of Ahsoka's dress that she wears throughout the Clone Wars. And this one actually right now is sold out. So if you're looking for that one, you'll have to get in on some emails so that you can get any kind of updates for when they actually do come back into stock. But the Leku athletic dress is just really cute. And these are selling right now for $54.90, so just under $55 in general for both of these. So lots of other things going on in Her Universe. And so between this and there's another collection that I really want to highlight, we're going to run down a bunch of other things. But yeah, I mean, I haven't really looked at Her Universe for a while, and they've really got a lot of really great things.
No, but those look fantastic.
Yeah, there's a lot of really great stuff. And I love the retro look too. And if you go to Disney, the Disney store, there's a whole bunch of other retro kind of things as well. One of them is based on the Steamboat Willie. So I just think that's really cool. It's not Star Wars, obviously, but just getting back to Disney's roots. So speaking of some summer apparel, there's some fun new swimwear over on the Fangirling Over Jesus shop. So this is the Etsy shop that we have featured several times here on World Between Worlds. So there's swimwear for guys, gals, and even the Padawans. And they are all in this print called Snippy Hawaiian. So there are some men's mid-length swim trunks. There's a two-piece swimsuit that has more of almost like a sports bra look to it and a high-waisted type thing. And all of these are in the, as you can guess, orange, blue, and white of Ahsoka's colors, but they have things like the hibiscus, but yet they still have the almost like the tiger stripe type thing on Ahsoka's Leku and Montrals. And then there's also a couple of one-piece bathing suits for the ladies. So there's one that has some cutout sides and a strappy black type tank, and then a halter one piece. And I really like the halter one because it's got a higher waistband and it's kind of cinched in the middle. And it even has Ahsoka's head markings, or face markings, I should say, in the center, which is really cool. So I really like that one. And then there's also a girls one piece as well with a cross back design and black straps in the back. So again, these are all over on Fangirling Over Jesus. So you've got the guys, you've got 3 different styles for the ladies, and you have a girls. And if you need a beach towel, this one cracked me up. Also on the same website, but it's called No Sand at the Beach towel. So this is a large, oversized towel, and it's on a black background, and it says, "Gone on holiday to the beach, ... not to the dark side." So it's kind of based on Tatooine's twin sons. And then it has the hashtag no sand. Wonder who that's referencing.
Indeed.
All right. And then on to heroes and villains, who they always have a wide array of different types of products, but wow, do they have some amazing summer types of goods going on right now. So, Heroes and Villains has tons of performance athletic shorts, board shorts for guys, performance shorts and racerback tanks for women, wide leg pants for women, which are really popular in the summertime. Boonie hats, which I realized are the ones that have the drawstrings, different from bucket hats, as well as retro snapback hats, including Ewoks and our favorite murder droid, Chopper. Some fleece camp hats, some luggage tags and toiletry bags for summer travel, including packable blankets for spreading out on the beach or watching the stars at night. And they also double as a travel pillow, which is really cool. And we've covered before, they have slides for the feet and, of course, tons of t-shirts. So if you need any kind of summer gear whatsoever, Heroes and Villains has tons and tons of things to peruse. And so, there's way too many things to go over specifically at this point, but just a rundown of some of the characters and aesthetics that you can be on the lookout for over there at Heroes and Villains includes Ahsoka, Mandalorian or Mandalore, Rebel Alliance, Jedi inspired. There's also some Empire kinds of things. There's some interpretations such as like tiki type designs, especially with the board shorts and that type of thing, and kind of gives you more of that beachy sort of feel. So it takes a lot of the Star Wars types of aesthetics and reinterprets them into more of a summer design. So again, that is over at Heroes and Villains. So all of these links will be in our show notes. So if you hear anything that kind of trips your fancy, make sure you hit those show notes up and simply take you right to where you need to go. And then next, kind of bouncing off of that as well, is a company called Crowned Athletics. And so they have a line called Galactic Gals athletic wear. And these are just beautiful pieces. And I love every single one of them. And I wish that I could snag up all of them, but they have some sports bras, some longer sports bras that come all the way down to the waist, and tanks, biker shorts, leggings, skirts, headbands, scrunchies. So everything to outfit you for all of your runs on the beach or runs at, Disney and that type of thing, or just for working out at home. And a lot of these you can even just wear out and about too, especially the tanks and that type of thing are just beautiful. So there are three different lines within the collection. One is called Star Lake Queen, which, as you can probably guess, is Padme from Attack of the Clones. Just beautiful. This is my favorite one. The Rebel Princess, which is based on Princess Leia, and it is gorgeous, and it's got the pearlescent type design with some of the shimmering white and silver. And then the Force Fighter, which I believe is based on Rey, is what I'm kind of guessing, because it's sort of got a cross design, especially in the front on some of the tanks and such. And but these are more of a blue with a brown, so it's either Rey or maybe Bo-Katan. I can't figure out which. What
No,
do you
I'm
think?
thinking they're doing the heroine of each one of the three trilogies. So
Okay.
that makes sense. And yeah, it's the sports bra look that I think really lends credence to the whole idea that it's supposed to be Rey.
Yes, yes, that's kind of
Mhm.
where my brain was going as well. But then I thought, well, maybe it could,
Well, and
be bringing Mandalore.
yeah, and then the whole force fighter thing, I think, is implying Jedi inspiration.
True,
So yeah.
true, very true. Good point. So that's a great line though. And again, that is Crowned Athletics. And then not to be outdone, another company called Cakeworthy has some really interesting things. And this one specifically has a lot of stuff for the Phantom Menace 25th anniversary, and mostly Jar Jar stuff. So there's a little bit of Darth Maul and one Palpatine flannel, but the star of the show is definitely Jar Jar. So if you head over to cakeworthy.com, you can also check them out on Instagram. They have a flannel, and on the back it says Representative Binks of Naboo. And then there is an all over print, which they call an AOP design shirt that has Jar Jar featured all over it. There is a drop sleeve t-shirt, which is an oversized type kind of baggy skater-esque kind of t-shirt on a purple background. So that one's kind of a fun one. And then they have a fanny pack. And yes, it's actually listed as a fanny pack because I always make fun of that everybody's calling it a crossbody bag, but they call it a fanny pack. So I was like, yes, victory. And but they do feature it in some of the pictures as well as a crossbody bag. This one's fun because it kind of reminds me almost like an Andy Warhol vibe of Jar Jar, panels all over the place, and it's got a lot of really fun colors and whatnot. But it's a nice size fanny pack actually, which I think is pretty cool. And then they have this 5-panel hat, which, as you can probably guess, each one of the 5 panels on the snapback hat has a different kind of little design. So there's some checkerboards, there's some fun different colors, and then it features Jar Jar as well. So if you want your Jar Jar, that is definitely the place to go, is to Cakeworthy. So did you see anything there that if you were a huge Jar Jar fan that you might pick up?
Not really. I mean, I could see there's I'm aware of the market that appeals to, but nice to have some designs like that for Jar Jar and stuff like that. But yeah, those don't necessarily make it into my collection, but I know the audience that those are intended for.
Yes, and it's just good to see Jar Jar getting some love, especially on this 25th anniversary of the Phantom Menace. So again, that's cakeworthy.com, and hit up those links in the show notes. And then on to some back to school things. So this could be for back to school or really anytime, office and esports, which is a company called Team Liquid, which does basically advertise themselves as an esports company. And I believe, didn't you get some key cap kits from Team Liquid, or did you get your keyboard from a different company?
That was
Remind
from a
me.
different company. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. They don't put an image on the keyboard, but they give you stylized keys.
Okay. Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. So they don't have the keyboard available at
Mhm.
Team Liquid, so you have to buy them yourself. And then they do have specifications for the different types of keyboards that they are basically able to adapt to. And so
Mhm.
if you're not sure, that's definitely something to check out. But if you're interested, there's a few different designs. So there's a Darth Vader keycap set, a Boba Fett, a Star Wars. It's called the Skywalker keycap set. That one's my favorite one because it's kind of anime-esque, which I think is really cool. And then there's also a dark side keycap set as well. So those sell for anywhere from $70 to $80 a piece. Or you can buy individual keycaps as well. You can just buy certain keys and then you can individually price those out too, which I thought was very interesting. But then they also have some apparel. So they have work jackets, lightweight jackets, some hoodies, some pants, like just lounge pants kinds of things, some Kylo Ren shorts. They have some button up shirts, tons of different kinds of t shirts. And then they also have, they call them mouse pads or desk pads. So depending upon what you're looking for, and like I said, they call them mouse pads, but when you click on them and you go to the actual size of them, they do measure out 35 by 16 inches. So that's definitely not like a quote unquote mouse pad, as most of us think of a mouse pad as being like what, maybe 6 by 8 inches, something like that. So maybe I'm just missing the current lingo.
No, mouse pad isn't correctly. This is a desktop
Mhm.
preserver thing. I've got a similar product that I purchased for my son from a different company, and it's just provides you a more gentle service that if you're resting your wrists or anything on there, but it's also very compatible with any mouse that you would be swiping back and forth over it.
Mhm. Yeah, absolutely. And actually, I ended up getting my yoga mat that I got custom made for myself from a company very similar to Team Liquid at one time too. And it's basically the same kind of material. And so that has always worked out really, really well for me. So they've got a bunch of different designs on there from Bounty Hunters First Order, Darth Vader, Kylo Ren. And then as far as apparel, once again, they have some cargo pants, some jerseys, all kinds of things. So once again, it's kind of that esports aesthetic. But you can also get some things for your computer as well, which is a lot of fun. And then the last thing for back to school is a company called Popcolors. And so this was just something that showed up on one of my Instagram sponsored ads, and I'm not exactly quite sure why. But these are called Color Wars. And so each one of the colored pencil in the set has a different name for whatever color it is. So I'm just going to run down through some of these. It's a set of 12 pencils. They're pre-sharpened, hexagonal pencil. They're foil stamped with some kind of a fun term related to the pencil's color. So the black is Darth Shader, and then the brown is Chewbacca, R2 Deep Blue, as you can guess, that's a blue one, C3P Gold, Green I Am, so for Yoda, of course, Bluke Skywalker, so that's kind of a sky blue, Maroonium Falcon, that's probably my favorite one. And then we have Princess Lilac. So it's supposed to be like lilac, but Princess Lilac. Return of the Red Dye. Haha. Java the Hutt. So it's kind of a, lighter brown. Stormtrooper, which is just really just white. And then Obi-Sun Kenobi. So there's a few different ones in there. So very, very cool. And so there's a whole backstory to all of these. And they are non-toxic and they're approved safe for kids and adults. So very fun. And then they also have some gift sets available as well. So if you want something to give as a little bundle, this will include 5 Star Wars coloring pages. And these are kind of fun because they do kind of remind me a little bit more of like a quote unquote adult coloring kind of a thing, especially the YU stuck up, half-witted, scruffy looking Nerf herder,
Yeah.
because it's definitely a lot more intricate when you're looking at the design itself. But there's that one. I find your lack of faith disturbing. It's not wise to upset a Wookiee. And the last one is I can't tell which. Oh, may the force be with you. And a long time ago in a galaxy far, far away. So there's your 5. So I know I like to color. There's just something about coloring that's very fun and very satisfying. Kind of like doing puzzles, except for when they're 3D.
Yeah. 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 Coloring is soothing, and it's one of those properties that you can just do it gently and zone out. So
Yes, absolutely. And they have so many different pencil sets too, which is kind of cool. So they have a Friends one. There's like Rachel Green, for example. Ha ha ha.
yeah, that makes sense.
Fans of the Beatles. There's a Shades of Anatomy. So like Shades or like Grey's Anatomy kind of a thing. There's Parks and Recreation. There's Breaking Bad, Game of Thrones. There's my favorite one is probably the Schitt's Creek because I love that show so much. And then there's tons of other ones too. So if you have any other kind of fandom, then chances are they probably will have something close to it. There's Pokemon, Minecraft, Mario, all kinds of fun stuff. So I was really impressed with the fun little names that they gave all of the different colors of the pencils as well. I would love to do that. Just saying, like I would love to work for a company and just come up with like the quirky little names for different kinds of things. So yeah, so last thing for this month's World Between Worlds is because we can't forget our furry friends, is I found a company called Sassy Woof. And Sassy Woof has a collaboration with Star Wars that has a bunch of fun little designs. So there's a Mandalorian collection. There is a Dark Side collection and a Rebel Alliance collection, as well as the Child collection. And all of these different types of collections have, as you probably guessed it, things for our woofy little friends. So for dogs. And so there's some harnesses and some collars. There are leashes, and then there's some bundles where you can get all kinds of fun things. So with the bundle, you get an adjustable harness, a leash, a collar, and a waist bag holder. So when you're out and about at the park and you need, to put your little waist bags in there for your furry friends, you can do that. And they also have a size chart that's available on the website as well. So if you're not quite sure what size harness to get your furry friend, then you can measure their neck and their chest, and it gives you the different types of sizes for the harnesses as well as for the collars. And these are all spot clean with soap and water and hang to dry. There's even a how-to video on the website for different sizing if you need that for your harnesses. And so, like I said, there's the different collections that they have with the collaboration with Star Wars. And so there's just a lot of fun designs to pick from. I'm kind of liking the dark side. Like I was thinking to myself, I might need to get something new for Gunner because he has his one that we run with, which I absolutely love. It's a sporn collar, and it is the best collar for running. I'm just going to throw that out there right now. But he needs something that I can take him whenever he goes to get groomed, because the vet can never figure out how to work the sporn collar. And so it always ends up like spaghetti. whenever
Yeah.
go. So, and he's definitely grown out of his puppy harness that he used to wear. So I'm definitely in the market, and I'm really digging that dark side one.
Yeah, it's a good looking set.
Yes, for sure. And of course, now I'm getting like all of these companies for dog harnesses all over my Instagram, but it's all good. So, so once again, all of these links will be in our show notes. And unfortunately, we are out of time for this month's World Between Worlds. So you'll just have to tune in once again next month to get some more wonderful add to cart items. So with that, I'd like to thank you all for joining us for episode 747 of Podcast Stardust and this episode of World Between Worlds for June of 2024. We hope you've enjoyed this episode, and if so, please make sure to subscribe to Podcast Stardust on your podcatcher of choice. And we'd also like to remind you that you can find all episodes of the podcast on retrozap.com, which is also home to several other great podcasts covering everything from the MCU, DC, Dune, and Star Trek, and a whole lot more. And as always, we greatly appreciate a 5-star rating and reviews on whatever podcatcher you use, especially on Apple Podcasts and Spotify. Please share the show and your favorite episodes on social media as well. So speaking of which, Dennis, can you remind everybody what those social media contacts are one more time?
Certainly. So Instagram, Facebook, and Twitter, you can find us at Podcast Stardust. We have a Pinterest page. We have all of our episodes up on YouTube in a faux video format that runs alongside Jay's unboxing videos from a couple of years ago. And we also have our regular episodes on their music player. And then we are part of the RetroZap Discord server. So if you want to talk to us in real time, head over there. And if you're looking for a RetroZap or a Podcast Artist t-shirt, then head over to TeePublic. And don't forget our collaboration with Sabermasters, where right now, if you use our code at checkout, which is Stardust, you can save an additional $10 off of your already generously priced 2-for-1 price of $199.
All right. So do you have anything going on with Warp Trails right now as well?
Well, my wife and I, Beth, will be catching up on the 5th and final season of Star Trek Discovery sometime in the near future. We got a little behind with traveling and some planning, but we intend to at least release one episode wrapping up that series before we get into the 5th and final season of Lower Decks later this year. What do you got going on in cosplay?
All right. Well, as usual, you can catch me over on my Instagram, which is at j.snipscosplay. So if you want to check out my adventures with Vanessa that I was just mentioning earlier, you can do that over there, as well as some other fun things that I've got going on right now. So I've just debuted a Fae High Fae Queen. Boy, that's kind of a tongue twister. That was a result of a an outing that I had a few weeks ago. So you can check that one out there as well. And again, that is at j.snipscosplay. So coming up on the show this Friday, we are continuing our coverage of The Acolyte. And on Monday, we are getting back into some Star Wars news. So with that, thanks for listening, everyone. Have a great rest of your week. And until next time, may the force of Star Wars fashion and lifestyle be with you.